There's been a lot of controversy surrounding the new Disney Snow White movie since it was basically announced. I mean, when they revealed that they're casting a Colombian actress to actually play the character of Snow White, who's named Snow White because of the color of her skin, then it really kind of came to a head when people saw this set photo right here, because they also were dropping the 7 dwarfs and replacing them with just regular people, basically cutting out dwarf actors. And they've also complained about that in the past. I've made a video about other dwarf actors complaining about what they're doing with this movie. But then it really did come to a head when Rachel Zegler basically tried to defend the whole casting choices by saying how she basically has identified with Disney princesses her whole life. Throwing this one as a kid for her and these ones, things like that. So yeah, I mean, it goes to show, it just blows up their whole narrative that they need to have representation in their movies by just showing that she was able to identify with these characters even when she was young. But in more recent information, she's talking about what the movie's about in this interview right here, and I'm just going to play a clip from it.
That the cartoon was made 85 years ago, and therefore it's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power and what
you say dated, I say it's a timeless story. I mean, I think what they're trying to do right now by inserting modern politics and sensibilities into it is ultimately going to date it, because in 10 to 15 years, when a lot of this, I don't know, these trends of trying to insert identity politics into movie kind of comes to an end, we're just going to look back on this type of thing, think like, oh wow, movies back in these days, or like the 2000s and 2010 2020 period, those are just crap because they were just trying to insert messaging into it that's obviously very old school.
What a woman is fit for in the world. And so when we came to reimagining the actual role of Snow White, it became about the fairest of them all, meaning who is the most just and who can become a fantastic leader.
Yeah, because you can't make a story about Snow White when you have these two cast against each other by saying like, oh, the queen is jealous of her beauty. I mean, don't get me wrong. She's not ugly. I'm not going to go so far as to say that. I know there's pictures of her that look pretty bad or stuff like that. I mean, but for the most part, yeah, she's not bad looking, but at the same time, she's no Gal Gadot in this one. So it is funny. Like when I first heard about the casting, like that Gal Gadot is playing the queen and she's Snow White, I was like thinking like, why? I mean, it doesn't make sense. But anyway, that's just something else entirely. But then you got this interview also talking about the movie as well, what they're doing with it.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
You know, I don't really understand why they're bothering remaking this movie if they clearly have such disdain for the original source material, because obviously they hate the messaging in the original. So what's the point of this? I mean, is it literally just the IP? They just have the rights to the IP, so they're just making it, even though they hate the movie. I mean, in the past, when you get people remaking stuff, a lot of the time the good remakes are people who remake it with a sense of love and passion for the original. I mean, what do you want to do? You want to see a director or any type of people, creatives behind something saying like, oh, I just love the source material and I just wanted to be faithful to the original and tell the story as best as I could in a modern day? Or you want to be like, oh yeah, that was so messed up, it was a terrible story, I think I can fix it? I mean, imagine the hubris on these people to think that they can actually fix a story that's lasted this long. I mean, because in 85 years from now, are people going to be talking about this movie? No, but Snow White, the original, is always going to be a timeless classic that people remembered, if for nothing else, just for the fact that it was the first live action animated movie by Disney. And then we have, yeah, this is the most recent thing that came out about this. And this is in relation to the actor strike that's been going on right now. And this is her out there on the picket line. And I think this is actually the worst part right here, because not only has she been hurting the image of the movie by just pretty much underselling it, but this just makes her come across as very impersonal and insufferable.
If I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
Yeah, okay. I'm not going to say actors have it easy, because I know actors. I've worked with actors a lot in my regular job. So I know that they actually do have to work, but at the same time, come on, you're not a lineman out there in freezing cold temperatures in the middle of the night trying to fix power lines because a storm knocked the power out to thousands of people or whatever. You're literally just an entertainer. you're standing there in clothes that people made for you in a temperature controlled studio or whatever, and then you're given lines to read. And once you do that for a little bit, then you go to your trailer and let them set up a news shot for a couple hours. I mean, I get it. I've been on a number of sets. It can be boring and stuff like that, but still, it's not that bad. I mean, for the most part, I mean, just getting paid to pretend for a living is actually a pretty good gig, and especially as much as they actually do get paid for this. So yeah, not bad. And a lot of people striking are basically complaining that they're getting part-time wages for part-time work, but that's a whole other issue right there. But the fact of the matter is, when you have this character being your Snow White, who's supposed to be basically a loving character who is relatable and compassionate for other people, and then you just have her like this and like, I want to be paid for every hour it's streaming. I say a better deal is, how about you get paid for how much money you actually produce for the company? I mean, Robert Downey Jr. basically did that for Avengers movies, where he, instead of taking less money up front, he took a cut of the box office, and as a result, he made bank off of that. Yeah, is it a little bit more risky? Sure, but I mean, go big or go home sort of thing. I mean, if you're saying I want to have money up front and I want residuals and things like that, well, no, that's not really how it works. I think you can get one or the other, and however it's negotiated just depends on your agent. If you're not happy with the deal that you're getting, then fire your agent and find someone else, because you could probably be doing better with this. But in all honesty, this doesn't help the whole image of the company right now, or not the whole image. It doesn't help her image, which in turn reflects badly on the movie that she's going to be a part of. But I don't think a lot of people actually are expecting this to be good, but really this doesn't help. And I think a lot of the issue with a lot of these modern movies right now is just the fact that people see actors on social media, and once you actually see how they really are, they're very unlikable, and it kind of turns people off from their projects. But right now we see this too, like with Disney having a lot of other live action remakes or live action adaptations or reimagining or whatever you want to call it in the pipeline right now. So I think I think they should be done with these sort of things soon, but at the very least, I think they're going to run out of live action or a lot of animated movies to remake live action. So I don't know, maybe we'll start seeing the animated reimaginings of their live action movies. I don't know, but either way, just actors, stay off of social media for the good of your whole projects. But let me know what you think about all this in the comments. And if you like the video, make sure you click that like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with the latest news. Thank you.